Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. And today we're going to do a stock review on Moderna. Now, I've done a stock review on Moderna before, but I think it's really imperative that we go over this stock again because Moderna is making headways in the medical vaccine race for COVID-19. They're making headways, especially when another country. Now, we have to understand that Moderna is a biopharmaceutical company out of America that's headquarters in Massachusetts. And we're going to get into the details. Give me one moment here as I'm setting up. But I think this will be very, very profitable for you guys. Now, even if the vaccine doesn't work, even if the vaccine has side effects, leading up to the buy and the release of these different stages and phases that vaccines actually go through, you can actually make some money in that process. And that's why you see me talking about option trading for this particular one, okay? For this particular one. So without haste, let's go over and let's look at this, okay? So here we go. 5 years Moderna, which has not been that long, okay? Not until December 7th of 2018. That's when this stock was actually released. But right now they're up 210%. For the past year, 370%, 371% the last 3 months, 19%. I'm rounding up. The last month, they're down roughly 13%. The last week, they're up roughly 2%. And today, they're up almost 0.5%. Okay, let's look at a little bit more about this particular company. They have 830 employees. Now it says here, it engages in the development of transformative medicines based on the messenger mRNA. And that's I used to know how to say all these words. I used to be in chemical, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tear up that name and I'm not going to even read it. Its product pipeline includes the following modalities: prophylactic vaccines, cancer vaccines, intramural immuno-oncology, localized regenerative therapeutics, systematic secreted therapeutics, and systematic intracellular therapeutics. The company was founded by Nuber B. Afayan, Robert S. Langer Jr., and Derek J. Rose and Kenneth R. Chang in 2010. Its headquarters in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Please don't beat me up because I know I totally butchered that, okay? All right, let's see what else is important here. Nothing too much. It's a fairly small company, okay? They've been around for 10 years. And their collections, okay, their collections is technology, most popular stocks for 100, health, biotechnology, therapy, cancer prevention, and you see the IPO and then the US. Now, breaking news, okay, 6 hours. Moderna in talks with Japan to supply 40 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine. They're in talks with Japan for 40 million doses. Now, let's look at something really quickly. This is just good to know. It's not need to know. I put population. Population of Japan. Let's do this. I spelled Japan wrong, but Google will fix it for me. Now, the population of Japan is 126 million, roughly 127 million. That's a little bit less than a fourth of their country. So what are they going to be doing with 40 million vaccines? What are they going to be doing with 40 million vaccines? Now, the only thing that I can think of, and this has to do with a lot of the lower class economically, is that they're going to essentially during trial periods, they're going to test it on the less fortunate, the people who don't really have that much money, to see if it's going to work for their middle class and higher class. This is what a large governments and countries do. They may come up with a vaccine or cure, but the first people they test it on is the lower class, okay, economically a lot of times. Not even dealing with race because most of Japan is mostly Japanese. So they're going to essentially test this on and try this on their lower class. Okay. So we have to look out for stuff like that. But I'm just giving you a little more context of 40 million doses. Now, that's a large population because they want to make sure that this vaccine works. Now, granted, this stock with this news alone, I believe is going to go up. I usually give you a price point. I usually give you a ratio. I usually give you a range. But right now, I really don't know. I mean, this thing could explode or it can just slowly tick up like a roller coaster at an amusement park, like tick, 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 tick. And you're waiting for it to, woo, you know, you get what I'm getting at. So let's move on. We're going to come back to some of these news stories, but let's move on. Let's read the other headlines. Okay, 40 million doses. It says Moderna and Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines candidates require ultra low temperatures, raising questions about storage distribution. Okay. Analyst ratings, 80% of analysts saying buy, 20% is saying hold, and 0% is saying sell. I want you guys to really think about this. Look at their quarter projections. I'm not going to even get over the quarterly earnings. Do you see a slow uptick? Do you see a slow uptick? This is actually good, okay? Very solid stock. Now, you see me. I was buying calls. I was I was on option trading. You see my history. And what do you see? Jack and nothing. I lost money off of this because my freaking options were too risky, okay? Too risky. All right, but we'll get into that because I'm going to buy an option today. Hopefully I have enough money in my available buying power. AstraZeneca, Innovo, Novavax, and Pfizer, they're all in this category. So before we go over to Market Watch, let's look at one of these headlines. New York Times, nah. Let's just go simply with the stock information. Let's go simply with the stock information. It says it's in talks with Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare of Japan to potentially purchase 40 million or more doses of the mRNA 127 for its COVID-19 vaccine. Under the terms of this arrangement, the vaccine will be supplied by Moderna and distributed in Japan by Takeda Pharmaceuticals, beginning in the first half of 2021, if the vaccine received regulatory approval. Again, so for this one, I will actually do a long option, okay? Because with a long option, you can storm through, you can survive through the storm, especially as they're going through these talks. And the key word right here is vaccines receive regulatory approval. Because if it don't, then Moderna may drop. And if it does, Moderna may shoot up. But in that process, okay, Moderna should be climbing. Now, I don't know the amount, the percent of the climb, but nonetheless, they should be climbing, okay? And of course, our famous Neo. Anyway, let's move on. Here we go. Let's look to see if there's anything significant that we need to look at. 52-week range. Look at this, guys. Very, very profitable. $13.50 versus $95 all within a year. So I'm going to tell you something. When you see the range in such large ratios, I'm going to tell you right here and there, someone became rich off of this. Someone was an instant millionaire within a year. Because what somebody did, they took $30,000. And when Moderna was at 13.5, they put it all on Moderna. And when they saw that Moderna peaked, by watching the candlesticks, the RSIs, the implied volatility, they looked at all the indicators, they looked at all the analytical tools, and they said, I'm buying. They probably sold it around 90 something, not 95. Because most people like it's ticking, okay, we know that it's about to pull back, okay? Because if we go back here, we understand that Moderna is at $68. So it pulled back a lot. But someone sold this around $90 and became an instant millionaire. This is the power of investing. But if Moderna if they did something like Snapchat when they first came out, they would have been an instant homeless. That's what they would have been, okay? All right, let's read what else that's important here. This is something we read on Robinhood about they require ultra-low temperatures, raising questions about storage distribution. More talks. Okay, my husband wants 50% of my mother's inheritance because he earns more than me. I said, no. Am I unreasonable? That's just interesting. Anyway, see what else, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what else. Now, the question for you, let's read a little bit more information about Moderna. It says therapeutics expiring a new class of drugs, measuring RNA therapeutics with the vast potential to treat many diseases across a range of drugs. Okay, and this is actually listed on the NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ. So let's go back to Robinhood and let's see if they have any options available, and they do. So I want to see where my implied volatility. Implied volatility is at 81%. Now that's good and bad. Okay, and we've learned about implied volatility. Okay, so let's see here. Implied volatility is 83%, but this is out to September 4th, which is next Friday. I think I want to put this option out just a little bit more around October 16th. Let's see. Nah, that means that all of the strike price is at $105. I'm going to have to be a little more risky with my $239, just to show you what I'm talking about. So if I go ahead and I buy one option, I'm already $295. Now, I don't want to invest more than my $239 that you guys actually see. Okay? I don't want to invest any more than the $239 that you guys actually see down here, okay? That you guys actually see right here. So this is going to be risky for me, but I'm going to back it up a little bit. And I'm going to check here. So September 11th, which is 2 weeks out, the implied volatility is 92%. Again, I'm just using this as a base. This is not the only indicators and analytics that you should actually look at. I'm just looking at this for teaching referencing, okay? So let's see. Let's go with this one, okay? Let's go with this one. I think that I can make some money on this one. And I've been pretty good at this so far. So the implied volatility for the 69 strike price is around 91 at 448. And that max cost is 700. That's not the one I was looking at, okay? I think I was up here. I have to change my expiration date again. Gosh, they're killing me. They really want me to risk my whole $239. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? To get in at a certain price point, implied volatility is at 82%. That's pretty good. It's not great. It's not bad, but let's see. Let's see here. Right here, we got 490. Why is this changing so rapidly? I think Moderna is actually doing pretty well. Where's Moderna at? Did it go up even 1% yet? Nope, we're not even at 1% yet. Okay, so let's keep it here. We're at 193. If we can go anywhere, we're at 94%. But listen, Moderna is not going to rapidly explode. They could rapidly explode. This is extremely risky. So let's see if it changes if I go up to September 18th. Let's see where it goes now. If we can get it under $1. Let's see. No, let's go right here. That's about 105. How much is that going to cost me? 350. Nope, still don't have a much. 325. I'm about to get cheaper. I'm about to even push this out even more. So what I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very risky, okay? Because I'm literally trying to spin this 239. And the reason why I say spin is because I really should be doing an expiration date probably around October 16th, right before the election. And as you can tell that the price for these are actually higher because the stock market knows because of the dealings of each company, it's more likely for you to reach that price point, okay? Look at this, implied volatility at 113. So either they're saying you're going to make good money or you're going to lose good money. But the chances are more balanced and more mathematically pertinent, that's not the right word. I'm a loss for words today. It just the math plays out in your favor. Okay, it plays out in your favor. Either you are a seller or a buyer. But the closer you are to your expiration date, and then you try to buy in a lower price point, it becomes more riskier, okay, based upon the strike price and also your break-even price. So when I'm doing things, when I come out here to, let's say, September 4th, which is next Friday, and I'm looking for things that, essentially, let's go all the way here, $120. Now, we know, and it says to break even, Moderna needs to hit 120, but the implied volatility is 188. So let's take, for instance, I do that. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Okay, now, did I have the plus? This is why I do not like investing on this platform. Okay, 305. We have 120. Exactly. So unfortunately, because it's too risky, I am not going to buy an option right now, but I will buy an option next week when I deposit some more money, because again, I can't do the instant deposit because I already passed my limit. So Robinhood won't me like I usually do. But anyway, let's move into some other things. Again, I don't believe Tesla. I said this yesterday that Tesla is not trading today. So let's go and look at Tesla. Let's see if they're trading today. They are trading today. Now, supposedly Tesla's supposed to do a split today. I don't know how they're doing both. Well, anyway, Tesla is up 200. It's up 30%. So again, with my remaining money over here, $239.90, I'm gonna go ahead and invest that money because I want to make money. My money makes money, okay? And I'm not going to keep money just chilling. I don't like money that's chilling. Let's look at, because I just invest, let's see how this turns out. Let's look at these numbers right here. Let's see how they change. CI is slowly declining because of the price point that I bought it at. But let's see how Tesla doing. They're actually on the uptick. Now, I wish on the desktop version of Robinhood they actually had the candlesticks, but they don't. Ah, there it is. You see that? It dropped because of their price point that I bought it at. It was at 29%. Now, if I would have left it alone, it probably would have stayed at that point, but now it declined. And you see that my shares, now I'm almost at a half a share because I'm invested $1,000, okay? But again, this is all just being strategic in my approach of getting that 5-for-1 split. Okay, that 5-for-1 split. And I'm gaining, I'm definitely gaining money on these investments when it comes to Tesla, because guess what? They're still up today. They're up 2% at $44. Okay. So let's bring it home a little bit. I'm gonna see who's in the chat. If anybody, let's see here. You might hear me come on. All right. Who's in the chat? No one's really talking today. So with that being said, I'm going to have to go to dark mode, okay? When I like to go to dark mode, I have to go to dark mode. Let me know if you can hear me when I go to dark mode, okay? I don't think that anyone can hear me, so I'm gonna have to go to dark mode just like this. Now, I don't think that anyone can hear me, so yeah. So again, unfortunately, my platform is messing up, but this is for Jacob Blake. Now you understand that Obama, during his presidency, made the LGBTQ community a protected class. Based upon their sexual preference and their sexual orientation, he had made them a protected class. My question is, when are black people going to become a protected class? Hate crimes. Do you understand, if you commit violence against someone part of the LBGT community because they are LBGT, that your sentencing and your punishment will be harsher than if you would a person who doesn't subscribe to that community? What about making African Americans, foundational Black Americans, a protected class? Now, anytime someone speaks about Black faces in white places, the Obamas, your Jack Brewers, your Clarence Thomas, your John Lewis's, Black people get upset. Let me tell you why I believe we get upset. I believe that we systematically have been brainwashed. Things has been fed into our subconscious over and over and over again, whether it be by imagery from all the news media, would it be by sounds from other Black people, whether it be any platform that you subscribe to, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and even TikTok. And we understand that when we consider Barack Obama, the first Black president, we automatically think that he grew up like us, that he struggled like us, that he went through discrimination, that he encountered police brutality and police violence. We have to understand that President Obama, from the day he was born, was already privileged. Now, I know what you're saying, but he was Black. Do your history on President Obama and the life that he lived. He went to Harvard University. And the question is, did he go to Harvard University on a scholarship, or did he have the grades and the money to attend Harvard University? And this is no strike. This is no strife against President Obama. I just bringing you context and information so you understand Black faces in white places. That a lot of times, I was listening to the Black Authority previously before I got on, and he was talking about how the Obamas hustle. If you want to check that out, go over to Black Authority. He's talking about the Obamas hustle. And it really rang and hit some points that I really never thought about when he was reviewing Michelle Obama's podcast on Spotify. And they were talking about how everybody is part of their tribe. Even after the presidency, they still subscribe to a narrative that everybody is part of their tribe. And essentially, they were saying that in hidden and coded language that Black people's struggle needs to continue through sacrifice. And that we need to stop making excuses. Jacob Blake, a father, a cousin, a brother, a Black man. He made the ultimate sacrifice. This brother is paralyzed from the waist down. George Floyd made the ultimate sacrifice. Breonna Taylor made the ultimate sacrifice. Trayvon Martin made the ultimate sacrifice. When do we stop sacrificing? I'm going to say it again like I did last night. Hold the vote. Hold the vote hostage. Because you know me, I had a little sticky and I'm going to throw it up again. No vote. No vote. Time and time again, we allow everything that we see on TV. We allow our friends, our family who subscribe to a narrative that they're not even privy to the information. They're following the masses. Somehow they have been convinced. I hold up this book, and not a single soul know what this book is all about. This book is essentially it's about 200 pages. When is the last time you or one of your family members actually read a book of substance? This book alone, now I love Powernomics, but this book alone will point out the actual hardcore legislation that prevented Black people throughout the years to obtaining any wealth at all. Can I show you guys something interesting, if I may? Let me show you guys something interesting. Just give me a moment to pop this up, because it's imperative that you guys understand when either you look at YouTube all day or TV all day or podcasts all day, what is the information that people are giving you? Did you go and research this yourself? Did you go do it yourself? Now, I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I recently moved to Texas. Not bad, I like it out here, but you have to do your research. Now, some of you may think that slavery doesn't exist in America except for in the Constitution when some was incarcerated. And that's why majority of Black males are incarcerated, because we're still in slavery. But let me show you something that's invigorating, that's very interesting, that's very demonic. Let me share my screen with you guys. Texas Constitution 1824 to 1876. Now, you want to know if this is relevant today. I'm going to blow it up for you guys. I want to make sure that you guys see this. Section 9, all persons of color who were slaves for life previous to their immigration to Texas and who are now held in bondage shall remain in the like state of servitude, provided the said slave shall be the bona fide property of the person so holding said slave as foresaid. Congress, listen to this. The state is telling the federal government, Congress shall pass no laws to prohibit immigrants from the United States of America from bringing their slaves into the republic with them. The state is telling the federal government that you can pass no laws to prohibit immigrants from the United States of America from bringing their slaves into the republic with them and holding them by the same tenure by which slaves were held in the United States. They say a slave is a slave. Nor shall Congress have power to emancipate slaves. I'm going to read it again. Nor shall Congress have the power to emancipate slaves. Nor shall any slaveholder be allowed to emancipate his or her slave or slaves without the consent of Congress, unless he or she shall send his or her slave or slaves without the limits of the republic. No free person of African descent. Listen to this. See, we have the people from the Caribbean. We have our Afro-Latinas. We have our people from Brazil. We have our people from Africa. And they come over here and they talk to our situation, not knowing our situations. They don't know nothing about the laws from the state or from the federal government that still are alive today. They have not been eradicated. Some of these are still in law. And guess what? It said African descent. That includes you guys as well. No free person of African descent, either in whole or in part, shall be permitted to reside permanently in the Republic. So that means that if I'm free, I could not live in Texas without the consent of Congress. And the importation or admission of Africans or Negroes into this republic, accepting from the United States of America, is forever prohibited and declared to be piracy. I hope you guys understand these laws. I'm going to do one more for you, and I know most of you understand this right here. This is from our own Constitution. And we talk about slavery in the Constitution. And what does this actually mean? We want to have police reform. We want to have ethnic training. We want to have sensitivity training for the police. People, we need to understand. I tell people this all the time. As a people, we are not free. We are simply let go from bondage. We are not citizens, we're simply residents. Do you see citizens getting shot in the back? Do you see citizens getting knees on their necks? Do you see citizens pleading out and crying to the government and their public officials for help and reform? I don't believe in defund the police. Don't get upset, not yet. I got something to say. I believe in decreasing the police, not defunding them. I know it's a matter of words. The police should not be running around town with military equipment. I was in the military. Why do you guys need that for urban cities? Why do you guys need that for suburban America? Why do you need that for any city? Why do you need tanks? Why do you need MRAPs? Why do you need machine guns? Jacob Blake, our brother, got shot in the back as he was entering his car with kids in the car in front of his sister and his family. Family, we need to understand some things here. And hopefully I can blow this up just for you guys to see. The 13th Amendment, which formally abolished slavery in the United States, passed the Senate on April 8, 1864. And the House on January 31st, 1865, and on February 1st, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln approved the joint resolution of Congress submitting the proposed amendment to the state legislators. Some of you love President Lincoln because he, quote unquote, freed the slaves. I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he believes that President Lincoln, if I can quote him right, is a Moabite. Basically, that President Lincoln has a great percentage of black blood in his system. What I've noticed is that people don't want to go through the chaos, the atrocities, the pain, the torture, the discrimination that black people go through. So regardless of how much black blood he had in him, he was a white man. And he did things for white reasons. We're talking about power. Do you think that the Union would have won the Civil War without the help of black people? Absolutely not. Because there's information stating out there that Lincoln said, I would have not freed the slaves unless I had to win the war. Let's read along. The necessary number of states ratified it by December 6, 1865. So that means it took almost a year for enough states to ratify this. Then it says here, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Why do you believe mass incarceration happens? Why do you believe, if you attended my session last night, then you will understand out of 100,000 people in America, only 700 of them are incarcerated. And out of 100,000 black people, 7,000 of them are incarcerated. It says, provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime. So what does that tell you? It tells you that slavery is legal in the United States of America, the country that you love so much, the country that you never want to leave, the country that you love discrimination. You love implicit bias. Still has slavery. I love when I speak to some of my friends who are of a lighter skin tone, Anglo-Saxons, Caucasians, because we have very interesting conversations. Not all, but some say, well, white people was in slavery too in America. And we're talking about involuntary servitude. Involuntary servitude. There's no such thing for white people. When white people was in servitude, they actually made a deal to pay off a debt or to gain financially gain something out of their work. We understand that America is just European immigrants from Europe and their descendants. Some of you guys are deciding to vote. It's your prerogative. It's your choice. But let me ask you this. When is the last time that you done anything of substance? When is the one time that we as a people can actually hold the pendulum, either who wins or who fails? They want to tell you that Donald Trump is a racist, that Donald Trump is a bigot, that Donald Trump is this, that Donald Trump is that. So what? What has he done for you the past 4 years? What did the previous president done for you the last other 4 to 8 years? It doesn't even matter. Good morning, Nolan Baptiste, and good morning, Vern. Good morning, Dread Mike. Mike says, a loophole in the 13th Amendment, we are not free. Don't forget the black codes. The average was in so-called slavery. Guys, we need to understand a couple of things. And the reason why I love to get on here and show you actual documented proof. Another brother of mine, I've been knowing him for quite a long time. He said, if we don't vote, we don't have a seat at the table. And I said this. And I said, you're right. If we don't vote, we don't have a seat at the table. But let me ask you this. We've had seats at the table before. And what has changed for us? Systematically, not onesies and twosies. Because guess what? The Obamas is not the picture, the example of Black America. It is not. They are an exception to the rule. They went to Ivy League schools. They're lawyers. They're rich. How did they get there? They've always been a privileged family, even before Michelle and Obama actually met. Do your research. It's easy to fight someone and argue with someone on what we should do as a people, what we should do as a community. Some of you are still confused about the NBA boycott, the tennis boycott, the WNBA boycott, some of the MLB boycott. Some of you are still confused. I'm not confused. I understand that the one thing that we can do as a collective, as a community, as a people, is to not do anything. See, when we are in solidarity, when we are unified, not on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. If we can agree on one thing, I used to say 3 to 5 things, but what if we can agree on one thing? One thing. How powerful would we be? If Black athletes in any sport says, I am not going to play until they come up with police reform, police reconstruction, not only on a state level for Wisconsin, but also on a federal level, that police immunity is out the door. If we can agree on not voting for anyone until they come up with reparations across the board in every aspect of our being, because our justice is unequal to everyone else. What if we could get equal justice? What if we could diminish and demolish discriminatory and white supremacy in America? How do you do these things? Well, Obama did it. He protected the LGBT community. They are a protected class. Now, and I heard something when we start talking about Obama and the things that he did and did not do, and if he tried to do those things, that he would be blocked because the government was mostly Republican ran and he was a Democratic president. It was one thing that someone said that spoke volumes to me. They said, so why didn't he at least advocate? And I always take it a step forward. I said, why didn't he propose, introduce legislation to help Black people. And then we start to take things out of context. Oh, Obama, he's just one. We know we're talking about the Obama administration. He has hundreds of people working for him. But why didn't he advocate it? He advocated for the LGBT community. And we understand that the LGBT community includes everybody. But based upon their sexual preference, their sexual orientation, how they conduct themselves, they have become a protected class, because when you commit a crime of someone in that community, because they're in that community, your sentencing and your punishment is more severe than it would be a person who does not subscribe to that community. I understand that some of you believe that our ancestors fought, bled, and died for us to have the opportunity to vote. And you believe that is your moral, your ethic, and accessory duty to go out and vote. I think they would be proud if we didn't vote for this one particular thing. We were making headways to becoming a people. See, they were fighting for the rights that we didn't have. Now that we have those rights, we have the opportunity to show power. See, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket on this one particular thing. I applaud the athletes who are boycotting. Yeah, I wanted to see the game the other day, but this is so much more important than a freaking game. We continue to get killed. We continue to get murdered. We didn't be by the police or race soldiers or white supremacists. They continue to call the police on Black people. Whether it be your Karens or your Kevins, simply for existing. WWB, walking while Black, call the police. A Black person is in my neighborhood. DWB, driving while Black. Or JBB, just being Black. Because the color of your skin, because you are from African descent, I really want you guys to really think as we start approaching the national election. Because I would love for Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mark Meadows, somebody in the government to propose to introduce a federal law that if you harm a Black person, whether you're in law enforcement or not, for no cause, for no threat of your life, that they make it a federal law that you will go to jail for 100 years. Something. I'm just making up things, guys, because something needs to happen. If you saw these videos or if you heard the story, and if you look similar to me, then this should mean something to you, because it could be you. It could be me. They had ample time to detain and subdue Jacob Blake. We have all these symbolism things. We're tearing down Confederate statues. We're writing Black Lives Matter on city streets and on basketball courts. What does all that mean to this guy right here, who is paralyzed from his waist down, who has kids who depend on him to provide for him? What does it mean? What does it mean? Go ahead and vote. Is it going to bring justice to Jacob Blake? Is it going to bring justice to George Floyd? Is it going to be justice to the two people the race soldier killed in Kenosha, Washington? The 17-year-old white guy. Let's see if they try him as an adult. Is it going to bring justice? Time and time and time again, we have given our vote mostly to the Democratic Party, and we have got nothing out of it. You guys don't care about the disrespect. Again, I'm not telling you to vote or not to vote, but I want to bring some stuff. You guys have a great and wonderful day. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. Brian Farley Stratton, I'll see you, brother. I'm out.